According to recent statistics, there are slightly more women than men in our United States society. Interestingly, there are, according to Catalyst in 2015, there are 52% of women in what they call professional jobs. When we look at the numbers of women in senior level executive roles, in boards of directors, and CEOs of S&P 500 companies, we see a very, very different story. How are we going to dramatically change that? So here is how we're not going to change that, is if we merely rely on best practices. Best practices are behaviors that we've already done. We need to change our thinking. Easier said than done. It's going to take a partnership between organizations and individuals to dramatically close this gap. Organizations, of course, need to make aggressive strides, aggressive commitments. They need to change their systems, their structures, and their processes. And while all that is happening, it's up to us to be the other side of that partnership. Leadership is not a position, it's a set of behaviors. Leadership is everyone's responsibility. It's up to each and every one of us to take the challenge, to make those big and bold strides. We have to look at what are the beliefs and the biases and the assumptions we hold about ourselves. So when you hear yourself saying things like, well, I couldn't possibly take that job because I've never done it before. Those are the moments when actually you're holding yourself back. You have to show the value when you're there. So it becomes an equation, right, as opposed to only, what is the employer going to do? Many of you have probably been in a setting where someone's giving you feedback and you can feel yourself quivering. As you move into leadership roles, right, you have to be able to give it and you have to be able to receive it, because otherwise your view is very insular, which is a career killer. The importance of getting reality checks, of holding up the mirror. We also have to be bold enough and courageous enough and interested in our growth enough to go to others. We have learned some of the harder lessons because you have to bump up against them, right? In your career, it's not linear, and you have to be willing to adapt, to move, and then to continue to ask, well, what do I, should I be doing something different, or am I okay with myself? Am I being me?